Are you ready?
You're on.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. This is, it's 7 o'clock. This is the date and time set by the Enon Village Council to accept any comments regarding the 2022 budget. So at this time, we will open the public hearing up. If anyone has any comments, we will take those now. Any comments?
Hearing none.
One last chance. Okay, no comments. We will close the public hearing for the 2022 proposed budget, and we will go into our regular session of the Enon Village Council. Kevin, I'll call the meeting to order. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Babcock?
Here.
Mrs. Sweet?
Here.
Mr. Bear?
Here.
Mr. Whitaker?
Here.
Mrs. Fogel?
Here.
Mr. Hannah?
And again, welcome everyone, and if you would, please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Additions to the agenda this evening.
I'll move we excuse Mr. Hannah from tonight's meeting for personal reasons.
I'll second that.
Call the roll.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
I've got a couple of items of communication. They'll be very short. All right, let's go into approval of the meeting minutes from Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. We'll need a motion and a second to approve if the council is satisfied with those as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
All right, those minutes are approved as presented. We do have a few items regarding finances this evening. Let's go ahead and look at the financial statements first, and then I know, Kevin, you got a couple items on there, and then Mike, you have one as well. On our cash summary fund, looking at those balances, in particular, the general fund is very healthy. Really, they're all looking good as far as the fund balances go. And keep in mind that for the general fund and the police levy, we'll be getting those second half of real estate taxes probably, I'm going to say, the middle of August. I believe those tax bills have gone out. If you look at the appropriation status report, 6 months through the year, so we're 50%. The general fund expenditures are looking good at 45%. Street maintenance looking good at 32% total expenditures. Police levy, we're at 45% on expenditures, and I know the water is going to be up because of that Cardinal Drive tank project. And for, yes, the water, we've got about 59% expenditures. And I think, Kevin, while we're on that topic, we have one more payment on that,
On the
the
Cardinal?
tank, and then we'll be done, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
very good. Then that will be paid off. Next report, the revenue status. Again, that general fund will be receiving that second half of real estate taxes. We're about 62%. Street fund, 34%. Those revenues are received monthly. And going into the police levy, 53%. And again, we'll be receiving those second half along with the property taxes. The very last page, water operating, we're a little bit ahead there. We're about 55%. So good shape revenue-wise. So we'll need a motion and a second to approve the bank reconciliation for the month of June, please.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
Okay, and those financial reports are approved for the month of June. Kevin, I'm going to turn it over to you. We have two documents that we need to tell council about tonight, and this is for the American Rescue Plan Act. This is for us to be able to get things rolling. So, and just a quick side note, these are forms that were sent, these are standard forms sent to everybody, so it's not like we can go in and tweak stuff here or there on it. It's like, if we want to be part of it, then we've got to pass these, or we have to approve the agreements, I should say.
Yeah, the first one is the assurances of compliance with civil rights requirements. Basically, that I was just kind of briefly read over it today, and it's just making sure that we comply with the civil rights requirements for the ARPA process. So that one will have to be, both of them will have to be accepted tonight, and like the mayor said, they are standard federal documents. Everybody gets them, and you either pass them if you want to participate, and if you don't, then you don't. So, but the first one would be the assurances for compliance with the civil rights requirements, and then the second one is the U.S. Department of Treasury Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act. And that just as well goes to tell you there are some guidelines and kind of conditions, terms and conditions on how the funds will be used, the performance period, how to report, maintenance and access of records, things like that. Just some conditions that the village has to abide by to participate in this funding round.
Along with every other government entity that's going to
Correct,
receive
yeah.
the funds.
Correct, yeah.
So we would need a motion and a second to approve the village entering into these two agreements.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, Kevin, call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
That motion passes. Thanks, Kevin. Chief, I'll turn it over to you. Chief Holler, about the resolution to proceed.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have a resolution for our renewal on our police department tax levies for a 2.5 mil. That's for the regular session, July 13, 2021, which is today. It's asking that you guys approve for the resolution to renew our tax levy, providing a maintenance operation of the police department. And again, that's just a renewal, and that's for the November 2021 election.
And if it's the desire of council, obviously, we would suspend the 3 reading rule before the passage of the resolution. That way we can get this into the auditor's office as soon as possible.
I move that we waive the 3 reading rule.
I'll second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
And then I'll move that we move ahead with the resolution and approve it for the renewal levy.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
And I appreciate the village getting this taken care of early, get it sent in, make sure we got all the documents in there that we won't have to worry about it again. So, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
I will keep it with you. We have a new officer to swear in this evening, so I'll let you do introductions.
We do. We have Anthony Reynolds. He's a graduate of the Greene County Police Academy, and he previously was employed here in Clark County at German Township, and he's came over here He's a part-time police officer. If you want to come on forward, we'll get you sworn in. He's got 2 years of experience. We're happy to have him.
And typically, the family comes up, good to see you again, so family, come on up and join us. We'll make sure that somebody gets pictures.
No, I said, did I say?
Yeah.
No, I said part-time, but I'll take him full-time.
How's he gonna swear me in?
Nice to meet you.
Part-time for now.
Okay, thank you.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome to the village.
So we did this the other day, so we ought to be good at it, right? Raise your right hand, you repeat after me. I, Anthony Reynolds,
I, Anthony Reynolds,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
codified ordinances
codified ordinances
of the Village of Enon,
of the Village of Enon,
and will faithfully,
and will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of part-time police officer
of part-time police officer
for the Village of Enon,
for the Village of Enon,
Clark County, Ohio,
Clark County, Ohio.
so help me God.
So help me God.
All right. Man, he's got some thin legs, doesn't he? The day after, whatever, look at his legs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couple items of communication. The fireworks from the VFW were spectacular this year, and I just want to thank the council for approving again the $2,500 that we donate for that cause. In my opinion, it's some of the best money that the village spends for the community every year. So they just look really, really good. Maybe it was just me, I don't know, but I thought they looked great.
Oh, they were good.
So-
Absolutely good.
I want to compliment our staff, Mike, Kevin, Christy, our department heads. Christy heads up the mayor's court. We have been doing a very good job with our insurance, our liability insurance, and due to the programs that we have in place, the risk management that we operate, we practice on a regular basis, and due to the programs, the procedures, the policies that we have, all of that stuff put together, we have been slowly reducing our liability insurance. This year, it kind of held about the same. We're about $24,000 for everything, which I think is very, very good. We were up in the 40s there at one point in time, but we've worked really hard, and we basically didn't have an increase this year due to the efforts of our staff. So I want to recognize you guys for the work that you do. The average increase was 4%, is what we were told the other day. Is that correct, Mike? I think you said 4%. And ours was like less than 1%. It was just a few $100s, but we increased a few limits on some buildings or whatever. So you guys are doing a great job. I appreciate it. I know the council appreciates it. So I just wanted to recognize you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Kevin, I'm going to turn it over to you for administrative updates. And if you would somewhere include that South Senior Street
Yes.
project, I would
Yes.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, residents. First item on the agenda there, the county commissioners met on June 20th to discuss the rezoning of the subdivision on Stein Road. And they discussed it once again and in its entirety, and the public had its chance to stand up and voice their opinions too as well. But after it all came to vote, they voted to accept that rezoning. So just wanted to let you know on that. The 2021 resurfacing contract construction meeting that we put in for Coons Drive. That meeting is going to be Wednesday, the 21st in the engineer's office, so they sent a letter out to all the interested parties, so I will be attending that just to kind of get an idea of when that project's going to start, and I'll let you know then.
And I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. What
Yes.
was just roughly the estimate for that project?
20
25?
22,000, something like that.
25,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and then like I said, then that area will be done, and then we'll be looking to do another area down the road, so. But that is Wednesday, the 21st at the engineer's office. You have your mayor's court sheet in front of you. We can go over that. There was 2 traffic cases this month. Total funds received was $1,755. Year-to-date is $15,300. Total funds remitted to the state was $75. Year-to-date to the state, $1,762. And total remitted to the village this month, $1,677. Year-to-date, $13,484.
I'll move that we accept the mayor's court report as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see here. Louis Agresta emailed out some, I guess, nominations to be voted into the integrating committee, District 11 integrating committee. I just want to let you know that I was voted in as an alternate for Bill Kessler on this committee, so,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. Cost estimate for the Enon Xenia resurfacing project is in front of you. The total cost, project total is $350,029. The village portion would be 70.98% of that, $248,450.58. The county is 29.2% at $101,578. We reached out to Paul just to kind of get a somewhat of a figure on what the village could be looking at, because we'd be applying, or they'd be applying for OPWC loan or funds for that. 74% OPWC, 26% would be ours, so we'd be looking to right around $64,500. And I think the initial conversation some time ago, we were looking at what we mentioned, like 60,000.
60, 62.
Yeah, something
So
like that. So it wasn't too far off. So.
I think these figures were revised based, and Dave, jump in anytime, they were revised based upon what they're seeing this year, I think is what they did. They went in and kind of tweaked stuff, and that's why it changed a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But part of it had to do, sir, with the townships. The town, when the ARP was passed, townships were not included in that.
Yes,
So they had to
that's true.
reduce virtually everybody by some amount, but they took more from the bigger cities
Okay,
and left the smaller cities, because they supposedly had less flexibility than the larger cities.
That makes
so
sense.
many of that money that was then transitioned to the townships would have ARP funding was moved that way, and that's why, but we still had to take a hit of somewhat, which is why, but it was fairly small.
minimal. The benefits, that 65,000, if it does go through, is just, well, we know the benefits to the project, so.
Oh, yeah.
So I did get a call from John Burr today, and he would like a motion from council just to approve the application process as a joint venture between the village and Clark County.
Right.
So,
Yeah, he mentioned that at the TCC meeting.
okay.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Need a second on that? Or you did?
Really?
I have a question. It's not really discussion. Just can you reiterate the distance from where to where, please?
From Green Vista to Dayton Springfield.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be well worth it.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
So patience on this project is going to pay off. I know it's been a while, but when it's done, when this is all said and done, that section and the drainage part, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a lot better than what it has been, what we've been dealing with. So it's nice that we have such a good relationship with County Engineers Department.
I do want to mention that, once again, the Cardinal tank is back online. There's just a few odd and end things. They got to tie up the contractor, tighten the fence up, and basically some earthwork that needs to be redone. But other than that, that project is done and got one more payment on it.
One more payment, it's,
Do we have any recent complaints from citizens regarding brown water or anything?
None that I've heard. None that I've heard. Other than when the school was using it, we were trying to fill it. But
Right.
recently, no, none, Dave. So yeah, so everything looks good. So the last thing that I have need to once again schedule. I know we talked about this, a public service committee meeting to discuss with a rep from the Ohio Plan about their services, how they can help maybe on our wage scale process that we're going through, and even the employee manual, so those are two topics. So we just need to come up with a couple dates, and then I can get back with him and let him know. So
questions for our administrator?
No, do you want us to come up with those dates right now, or?
you can now, or
I'm just going to be
Whenever.
out of town the last week of July. Other than that, I should be pretty well open.
So that gives us next week. Is he available that soon?
you give me a couple
No.
dates, he said, and
All right.
I'll get back to him. If it's after you get back, whatever. It doesn't have to be.
Just preferably not a Thursday.
Thursday?
Not a Thursday.
Not a
No,
Thursday.
okay, good.
Not
because
a Wednesday
we've
or a
got
Thursday.
school board meeting.
I will vote for
The
not
20th, next Tuesday?
Tuesday's good.
And you want to do it earlier because you have, what, football or something like that with the kids?
Yeah, it'd be great. Earlier
Can
the
we-
better.
Ben, can you do it earlier? Like 5:30?
Yeah, works for me.
5:30? Do you need another date or
Just in case he can't
just
do
in
it.
case he
Yeah.
can't? So you want to try Wednesday, the same time? One of those 2 days, the 20th or the 21st?
Does that work for you, Chief?
Chief? Yeah,
I
right.
can. I prefer Tuesday. I can make Wednesday work.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we all prefer Tuesday, so you
Okay.
can stress Tuesday. How's
okay.
that?
And if not, 21st
Yeah.
at same time, 5:30?
Please, thank
Okay.
you.
I will.
Mr. Mayor, are you available for the
And what was that second date again?
Wednesday, the
Wednesday,
21st.
the 21st rather?
Not, okay, yes.
Thank you.
I will call him right away in the morning and shoot out an email to you guys.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you so much.
That's all I have for now, Mayor.
Questions for our administrator? Okay, thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Chief, back to you again.
Thank you. In front of all of you are the stats for April, May, and June. Just our dispatches, citation stops and runs. Looks like April, we had about 107 dispatches. May was down a little bit to 90, and then June is matched at 107. The citations, 6 in April and 4 in May and 6 in June. And then, as you can see, in June, the property crashes seem to be going up, so it's nicer weather. I want to, so our numbers usually average about the same if you look back. I do want to point out that because of COVID, the governor had a thing where expired registration, expired driver's license, and things like that. He had a grace period where, as of July 1st, everybody basically pretty much drive around on expired plates, and we weren't to enforce that. So two things I took away from that. One is our citation numbers went down dramatically, but that also piggybacks on what I've said consistently for the last few years. We're no longer a speed trap if we ever were one. I don't know. I've been here for a while, but I know that that gets thrown around a lot. But our officers, they look for everything, but speeding is something we look for, though it's not something we hand out as much as everybody thinks when they see the traffic stops out there. A lot of it is license violations. So at any rate, that did cripple us a little bit because, we just couldn't enforce that part of the revised code. So Just point that out. That being said, I did get a few speed complaints, call-ins, and I appreciate some of the residents that did call in. Broadway Road appears to be picking its pace back up, so we're going to try to settle that down a little bit. I know that's about every 3 years, roughly, I think, for the last I get that. So if you see us a heavier presence out there, that will be why. Our Cradle points did come in. Remember the last meeting I talked about switching our service from Verizon to AT&T and also installing the Cradle points to get away from the MiFi, the portable Wi-Fi packs. They are installed. PNR did that. They're working just like we thought they would. Very good reception. Also, I canceled our service with Verizon Sunday. Actually, is the day I did it. That will save us $5 per line on the MiFi part of it, which is 3 currently because we have 3 cars. And they look nice, and I'm glad they got them in. I didn't think it would go as smooth as it did, but it did. So, knock on wood.
Good.
I had some miscellaneous communications down there, but I think I just covered it with the Cradle points. Again, on this officer, we just swore in. He was a part-time officer over in German Township here in Clark County. But he worked a lot of hours. I've heard him on the radio, and so he's got a lot of good training. So you might see him out. He's not going to be in the FTO stages as long because he's pretty much familiar with, well, he is familiar. He's just got to get used to our little bit. So, in fact, he'll be on the schedule really soon. So if you see him out by himself, that's why he's got some seasoning on him. So, and that's all I have for the report. If I'll take any questions.
Questions for our chief?
I got a couple calls from the Green and Youth Football and Cheer. A couple of their board members gave me a call and wanted me to express their gratitude. I believe it was Officer McHenry.
Yes.
They had a car wash over at Rite Aid last week, and he stopped over there. They said the kids were all excited about it. Got his car washed, or patrol car washed. I just want to say thank you.
Did he pay for it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know, and you sent me a picture of that, and I appreciate that. That was a lot. That was a lot of kids out there.
Nice.
Hopefully they did well. But, yeah, good. I'll let him know.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
And I did receive a comment from a resident right before the meeting, and she greatly appreciates the patrols that she sees in her neighborhood. So the visibility, the presence, that's what we're shooting for. So,
Thank you.
any other comments or questions? Okay, Chief, thank you. All right, committee reports, anything at all there? Let's go to old business then, and we'll talk about the approval of the 2022 budget. I can go through total-wise and just kind of give the totals, if that's okay with council, instead of all these line. Mayor and administrative on page 1, total expense, $122,000. That does reflect an increase of about $27,000 regarding the land purchase that we have recently made. That would be the payment for next year.
I think that's a subheading though.
What's that now?
Mayor and admin total.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a sub, so I don't know if you want to do
You want me to?
total general
You just
fund or
want
if
me
we
to
want to
do
do,
You want me to do every page total? I can do whatever you guys want. I can do.
it doesn't matter.
Okay, let's go to page 2 then.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all looked at
And,
it, I think.
We've got the mayor's court expenses. Those are about the same. Same with the fiscal. We get down to the total general fund expenses, $334,585. And that was actually a little bit less estimated than what we had for this year. Page 3, let's look at the revenue, general fund. Total revenue, that would include the carryover, that's down towards the bottom there, would be $434,250. And our excess would be $99,665. I was talking to Jeremy before the meeting. Our anticipated carryover is going to be more than $148,000. I mean, we're sitting really good in there
Absolutely.
right now. So let's
But
just
it's a
keep.
budget number.
It is. My recommendation is let's just keep these the way they are. We can make any adjustments that we have to the first year when we pass the appropriations. This is very conservative. I think we're going to have a significant more amount of money in the general fund than what that depicts. Page 4, street fund expenses, $240,000. Income, $271,000. That would include a $70,000 carryover, and we would have an ending balance of about $32,000. Capital outlay for the street would also include $25,000 for the land purchase. Page 3, police levy expenses. Those did go up in order to compensate for lower amount of police services in the general fund. Those went to the police fund, along with the fact, I believe we'll be adding one officer onto our insurance program. So we've got that in there as well. Expenses, $333,000. And we have the total revenue estimated at $573,636 for an excess of $240,636. Page 6, on our water fund. Total expenses estimated for 2022 would be $1,085,000. Total revenue, $1,202,195 for an excess of $117,195. This was the last year of the rate increase, so there's no rate increase that is in place for January of 2022.
Right, but it accomplished our goals because we were looking to have
We
that
have.
contingency fund.
We've
so
done-
that we could take care of emergencies, so. that
We've
worked out
done
well.
very well with that, actually. Good point. Page 7, and total of all income, $2,481,908. Total expenses, $1,992,585 for our income. Our excess would be $489,323. And on our special police fund, we have estimated here our expenses at what, about $1,600? And we would have, at the bottom, we would have an excess of about $1,279. Very last page, on the mayor's court computer fund, expenses of $2,900. And we would take that down to about $84.98 at the end of 2022.
Well, I'd estimated 84.99, but I'll let it slide
I kind
this
of
time.
figured you would have, Dave. Okay, so there we have it, and the gist of it is, we are in pretty good shape with the Village of Enon finances. We're very fortunate, and if the council is satisfied with these numbers that Laura put together and that was reviewed by the staff, then I would entertain a motion and a second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
And so that that proposal does pass, and I will go ahead and inform Laura to get this off to the auditor's office. And it had to be passed, I think, by the 15th, and it's got to be actually sent in, I think it was the 20th, I believe, something like that. So we'll go ahead and get it taken care of, though. We have no new business, no executive session, comments from the public.
Good evening, council. I would just like to express my gratitude to for Sergeant Rayburn. The kids every once in a while tends to trash the school grounds around the basketball court at Enon School. And one Friday afternoon, I recognized him. He stopped the cruiser, went out, picked up all the water bottles, threw them in the trash can, and then went on patrol. So anyway, just wanted to recognize
Thank you.
Sergeant Rayburn for that.
Thanks for mentioning that. Above and beyond. Anybody else? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Excuse-
moved.
I got one more thing I forgot, I'm sorry. I want to invite everybody down to the park. The Eagle Scout John Irvin got the fire pit done down there at
cool.
Enon Park.
Great, great.
I think it looks good. I think the only thing he has to do yet is, and I think we're helping him, just put the benches back in. But he put the pavers down and in the fire pit, and so go down and take a look at that. And he put grass seed and straw and everything. So
Good deal.
it's looking good, looking good. So kudos to John Irvin. So
There you go.
Good deal.
thank you.
So who moved?
Brenda did.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.